Hi guys, I think it's working.
Yeah, so the meeting is now streaming live on Facebook.
All right. Hey everyone, we are recording another episode of Maximum Storytelling Podcast. And since you guys are all in the guild, you get live access. So feel free to join us if you have any questions. You can put them in the comments or you can join in the Zoom link that should be there. So, okay, today we're going to talk about creating a video so that when you have a new intake come into the office to sign up, or if you have a new client who is just getting ready to start the process with you guys, you have kind of a video that explains what the process is like and welcomes them to the firm and everything like that. So we used to do these. We had one burned to a DVD all those years ago. Remember?
Yeah, it just lived in the DVD player. We never took it out, and it was just so easy to set up and play because that was the only thing that we ever watched on that TV really was the intake video.
Unless a really good baseball game was on, and one of the attorneys would watch baseball in the conference room. Right. So you could do something like that, or you could, it doesn't really matter how. We'll talk later about how to give access to the clients, but pretty much you just want something so that when they walk in or their first encounter with your firm is something that seems professional, right? It's a video that welcomes them, and like Josh has always said, I mean, video makes such an impression on people. So it's kind of cool because not a lot of firms do that. So it's pretty easy to create. I mean, you really, if you have a video camera at the office, or you can even use your iPhone. What kind of setting do you suggest, Josh, that people film this in?
Well, I think it depends on what kind of camera you're using, but just capturing your process is the most important thing, and having clean audio. So setting up somewhere to where you got some nice light coming in, maybe next to a window. If you have your iPhone, you could set it up on a mount or something. You want to shoot it this way and not shoot it this way, because once you have it on your TV screen, you don't want it just in the middle like that. You want to make sure that it's filled out 16:9 aspect ratio. Obviously, when you're using a camera like this, it's just going to be 16:9 automatically. So just so you got some nice lighting, some clean audio, that's really the most important thing. And then just sharing your process of what the intake looks like. I think that's really the most important thing. But settings for your camera, it all depends on what you're using, but I would always shoot in the highest resolution you can, whether, most iPhones shoot in 4K nowadays, 4K 30. It's a great setting to use. If you've got, just a DSLR or a mirrorless camera, you can shoot it in 1080. At the end of the day, it's going to be compressed down on YouTube anyways. And I think it also depends on where you're going to house this video. YouTube does compress, but if you have it on a DVD, that's 720 resolution anyway. So even if you shoot it in 4K, you put it on a DVD, it's going to be, the file size is going to be crammed all the way down. So at least 1080 is what I would recommend.
Cool. So pretty much the same video settings that you're going to have. I mean, this is a good rule of thumb pretty much for any video that you're going to create. And obviously you want to make a good impression when somebody comes in. I mean, half of the battle is getting them to call the office. But once they do call the office and once they set an appointment, I mean, anything that you can do to wow them and make them feel like the entire experience is going to be a good one, then, the better. If it only takes a couple extra settings to get it looking really sharp, then take the time. I mean, it only takes a couple of minutes. So next we'll kind of talk about what should be included in the video. And I know that everyone has different practice areas and everyone has, a different reason why they started their firm, and everybody has a different firm size. So this can vary from, law firm to law firm, but pretty much what you want the person to feel on the other end when they're watching the video is you want them to feel welcome. So some sort of welcome to the firm. Have something in there like, you're most likely dealing with a lot of stress and we're here to help alleviate that as much as possible. Let them know that we've got it from here. Like, you know, the hardest thing that you had to do was go through all the crap that you're going through that makes you want to call our office and let us take the reins, help them feel at ease and like it's going to be okay. So some sort of, you know, welcome. The next, you know, point that we have is we know that you have a lot of options and we're happy that you're here. You made the right choice. Do you guys ever get, you feel like you have a little bit of buyer's remorse when you either make a big purchase or perhaps you're on the fence, you know, maybe a client was on the fence about hiring you or hiring, you know, 2 other firms. It was between 3 of you guys. And they think that they made the right decision, but they're just not really sure. And they're sitting in the office and they're like, they haven't signed any papers yet. And they're just like, oh, should I be here? I really don't know. They're already stressed out. So giving them that verbal affirmation that you made the right choice, even hearing it is calming. So, hey, we're happy you're here. You made the right choice. One of the things that we always used to say on intake was, I'm so glad that you found us. I'm so glad that you found us because we handle this type of stuff all the time. And I think it naturally puts people in a place where they're more receptive to hear what else you have to say, because you're encouraging them that, like, hey, it's going to be okay. Another thing that we always talked about was communication is key. For the success of your case, we'll do our best to update you along the way and encourage you to do the same. So it's a perfect way to kind of set expectations. I know that even though you are taking the reins, no case is going to be able to be handled completely solely by the attorney without any input from the client. So, I mean, if you need paperwork signed, if you need medical records, if you need, I don't know, birth certificates or death certificates or things like that, you're going to have to rely on your clients. So this video is a perfect way to say, hey, we're here for you, but, you know, please feel free to constantly communicate with us, and don't be surprised if you get a call 3 days after, or don't be surprised if you're going to be asked for this, or if you're going to be expected to show up here. Setting that expectation can put people at ease also. And then please don't hesitate to call us. You know, you could always end with something like, please don't hesitate to call us or email us with questions. Anything that makes them feel like you're easily accessible is also going to put them at ease.
And also too, it might be hard to kind of make this a, you know, basically a one-stop shop video. You know, this is obviously not going to fit every single case that walks in. If you're going to get really specific with how the case works, maybe some of your other talking points of the video. So it may be a good idea for you to create a couple of these. Maybe you have one for just personal injury. Maybe you've got a wrongful death. Whatever your practice area is, you can create different products to show those, you know, specific clients that are coming in. So, or you can keep it, you know, super generic and kind of just explain the process, like Anneke said, reassure them that they made the right choice. And this doesn't have to be just one person talking. If you've got someone in your office that's really good on camera, they come off as like super genuine. That's another important thing too, is you don't want to seem like, you know,
I'm Mr. Such and Such attorney,
yeah,
and welcome to my firm. Like,
and I'm going to be glad spending all your money.
Right, exactly. I'm not an attorney, and at the firm that Josh and I used to work together, I was the one who did the intake video just because I didn't really care if I looked like a total goofball, and I was just like, hey, welcome, we're happy you're here, you know. And it was, yeah, I wasn't an attorney, but of course I also didn't say in the video I'm an attorney either. So it's, as long as it's a welcoming voice, they don't care who it is, you know.
And you could have different people. You could have someone starting off the video and have someone else come in that handles the intakes, and maybe they're answering some questions, and the attorney kind of chimes in and gives you know, something from their point of view. This is kind of all up to you and what information you think your client needs to hear, but having some sort of a message that you can play that, you know, shows that you're state of the art and you're doing something that, you know, your clients are going to appreciate, that you don't have to give this 10-minute spiel every time someone comes into your office. They can basically do this work for you. And now with, you know, a pandemic going on, people want to be reassured that safety measures are being taken care of, that, social distancing, we're wearing masks, we're sanitizing. All those things are also good talking points too, especially if they're coming into your office.
Exactly. And now maybe you can talk a little bit about how easy it is to, okay, so you had suggested if you have different practice areas, then don't be afraid to make different videos. You can still have the same introduction. You can still have the same COVID mentions. You can still have the same, this is why we started the firm. You can still have the same communication is key portions of that, and then just record a separate, since you were injured on the job, this is what to expect. And then edit that in, right, Josh? Like you can just, don't feel like you have to create a brand new video every time. Just record that little portion and edit.
Right, splice it in, and then, when you go to put this video on YouTube, or even if you made a DVD, you could have different titles or chapters.
Yeah.
You can click on the auto accident one, and you just got that little blurb, that little part in the middle that is different from the rest, because obviously auto accident case is going to be different than workers' compensation. So just having that little bit of extra information may be useful, maybe not. It's something that you could also share in person, just kind of keep this generic. I think it all depends on your firm and what your needs are.
And sometimes firms get as in-depth as taking their, their big, what's your story? If you have a professional videographer come in and they do a really cool 2-minute video highlighting your building and the attorneys talking about why they did what they did, don't hesitate to put that as an introduction too, and then add on to that from there. I mean, that's totally awesome as well.
It's definitely going to add to that wow factor that they're going to get, especially if you're presenting it on something that looks nice, a nice flat screen TV. Now, I will say that you could completely take this the opposite way if your delivery and your appearance isn't all the way there. I went to a chiropractor a couple of years ago, and they made me watch this introductory video. Not even joking, they wheeled in one of those big, like, old elementary school TV carts with a TV with a VCR in it. They popped this VCR, tape in that was from like 20 years ago. And I'm like, seriously? Like, yeah, we need you to watch this whole thing. And it was like 25 minutes long. I did not pay attention. It was awful. I never went back there again. So just keep that in mind too, that you could absolutely, tank this and take it the other way. Yeah, absolutely. So just be careful and make sure the quality is there. Watch it when you get done. If the audio doesn't sound good, or if it doesn't look right, just reshoot it. It's not going to take that long. It's definitely going to be worth it in the end.
Oh, and also if you're still in the editing stages, right, and you haven't, if you're sitting there editing it and you're watching it, get the feedback of other people in the office. Have them watch it for 2 minutes. They might be able to pick out a tiny spelling error that you have, that a lot of times when you're editing something, you're just staring at it for so long that you might miss something. So having an extra set of eyes before you export it and turn it into that final version can save a little time also. And also, if you do choose to have some professional videographer come down and do these story videos and do these, here's why, and here's all about our office, having them sit down and do an extra intake video is well worth the time, right? So if you already have a professional in your office, then just take it one step further and say, okay, let's explain what it's like for a new client, because then you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone too, and have something extremely professional.
And especially if you're shooting a lot of B-roll and stuff, like she said, you can create this like kind of intro, a little bit about your firm, give them a little bit of an overview. You've got some of these really great, compelling shots showing who your attorneys are, other people in your office working, because they may not see that. They might just come in straight to your conference room. They may not know what's going on behind these doors or who is even a part of your team. So it'll give them a live look into what is actually going on, how this process actually, looks in real life. And so, yeah, it's definitely one of the first videos you should be making. If you don't have anything yet, it's super easy to put together. But like she said, if you got someone there and you're already doing some sort of interview-based stuff, take 5-10 minutes just to talk about your intake process, and you can use that to, easily create another video.
So let's just say that you have a client who signed everything electronically, and especially now this is appropriate because some people aren't coming into the office, but sometimes we used to have clients that would sign all their paperwork through DocuSign, and then they would quote unquote become a client, but they really didn't have anything in between signing that electronic paperwork, and then getting a call from a paralegal. So if you want to send this video to the brand new client, what do you suggest is the best way to do that?
Well, if you've got a Google Drive or anything like that, you could obviously put it on there. You could also use it, put it on YouTube as a private link. That way it's not available to, everyone that's subscribed to your channel. If you want to keep it as like an internal piece, you could just create, put it on YouTube and has it as just a private link. So then when you send them that link, they're watching it as a regular YouTube video. And they can also share it out to other people, but you can't just like go on YouTube and search and find the video. You have to have that link. So going that route, putting it on a USB, if you've got the compatible TV or computer in your conference room that you can literally just plug it in, that's going to maintain the quality if you do shoot it in 4K or 1080. DVD is probably the last resort.
Right.
That's
that
because you shoot so good quality, and then it's just like what for? You might as well just shoot it on a potato. So yeah, definitely USB. Having it right on your desktop as your computer. If you've got an HDMI that's plugged into there, I think we did that a couple of times for different videos.
Right from a laptop too.
Yeah, I guess it all depends on your situation and what's your Wi-Fi and all that stuff. Like you don't want it to be like choppy and cutting out. If you've got it on a USB drive, you don't have to worry about internet connection, and it's really smooth.
And if you guys do this right and you need a couple pointers, or you just want to make sure that everything is all set up in the proper way, just shoot us a message and we'll walk you through the process, and we'll say, okay, choose this over that or whatever. We're always happy to give feedback and point you guys in the right direction. But I don't know, this is just kind of like you said, Josh, that was a great point. Easy way to get started. And, you already know this stuff anyway, because it's the stuff that you say to a client face to face. So why not put it in a video? And I mean, a little bit of a bonus is that it saves some time from explaining, that stuff.
And if you honestly don't know where to start, I mean, take your phone in there, put on the voice memo, and then record it and let it sit there. Go through an intake meeting, and then you've got that recording. You can say, okay, well, we talked about this. These are the steps. This is where the questions that they had. And you can literally just turn those into talking points for your video, super easy. And so, I mean, the video is really straightforward. You could take it as in depth as you want. You can create separate videos for all the different steps of the process as they're moving along, all the way to when they settle the case. And then they get another video saying, seriously, thank you so much for trusting us. We are so happy that you had a great outcome, or whatever it may be. And they've kind of got this like idea then of how this personal injury case worked, how their case traveled throughout this adventure that they were on with you. And really, you guys are like creating this story together that you could always use in the end to create a testimonial.
And if you wanted to get really fancy, I know attorney John Fisher, he has very few clients every year on purpose, right? Because he takes such high level court cases that sometimes he's only taking 10 or 15, maybe less cases a year. So if you have that type of firm, how cool is it to create this main this main video, but then splice in at the beginning, John, welcome. We're so happy that you're here. Or Shirley, thank you for trusting us. I mean, they would be wowed they would think that you made this complete video just for them. I mean, that'd be pretty slick too. I know if you have
especially now,
a few hundred cases,
sure.
It'd be harder, but it'd be neat. So I'm gonna look online to see if anybody has any questions, but I don't think so. Hi, Joey. Thank you for watching us. We appreciate it. And hi, Becca. But if anybody has any client or questions, if you guys are watching this later or listening on the podcast, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We'd be happy to point you in the right direction. And also, if you have any ideas, or if you've already done an intake video of your own and you want to share it with us, please, please, please send it, because we would love to see it, and we would love to share it with everyone else too. And that way we could give everyone some good ideas on what to do. All right. Well, until next week, I'll see you later, Josh.
All right. See ya.